I call it roping out of a box. You back your horse into a box, and these steers come out of a chute in the middle. And you nod for them to release the steer, and then you ride and rope.
Nice steer, that's great.
Today we're taking a closer look at America's favorite horse, the quarter horse. Hi, I'm Steve Boaldin, and I'm a cowboy artist. You know, there's a story behind every one of my paintings. This show is about those stories in my search to find them. I travel to ranches across the country to see cowboys in action and to gather authentic material for my paintings. Along the way, I have the rare privilege of meeting ranchers and their families who pass along their passions and the cowboy way of life. So join me as I capture these real cowboys, their horses, and their cattle on canvas.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
We're here in Piedmont, Oklahoma,
Nice horse.
where I'm visiting my friend Jeff Tebow.
15, 16 years ago, my wife and I bought a piece of ground and built kind of our dream little horse place.
He has a nice barn, he has several horses, he has a few pastures, a lot of nice horses at his place. Jeff brought out a couple of his horses, and so we saddled them up and got ready for a ride.
Sure is a nice saddle.
It's a beautiful time of year right now. We had a lot of rain.
We'll go get you a bridle. I'll go catch
Everything
you
was
another
just
horse.
real pretty. We got to ride through his cattle, and it just allowed us to enjoy some fellowship of horseback. Jeff's family has always been involved with horses. His wife has always worked with horses, and she's a good trainer. His daughter's competed for a lot of years, and she's done really well.
I've always been on horses, and you know, we rope a little at home and ride colts and do all kinds of things. But 27 years ago, I quit showing horses. My wife and my children were the ones showing.
His wife and daughter were more into the showing of them, and he was the kind of guy that would help with all of that. But due to an injury by his wife last year, they talked him in to going ahead and competing.
My wife, unfortunately, was unable to show, and both with the encouragement of her and my children said, "Come on, Dad, you can get on the horse." And so I was able to qualify in 4 events for the Select World Championship. I said I would do it and get qualified in 1 event, and 1 became 2, became 3, became 4. And so here we are after 6 months of this journey, and I guess it was my turn to get back in the saddle and start competing again. There we go.
And so after so many years, Jeff is back. His first major event, the Select World Championship in Amarillo, Texas.
I'm getting ready to go to Amarillo, where they're having the American Quarter Horse Amateur Select World Championship. Okay, we're ready to go. I'm anxious to see if I can get anything done, make sure I don't fall off, but I'm kind of getting excited. I'm about to go off my feet and the butterflies are starting in my stomach, so it's about showtime for us in Amarillo.
The Amateur Select World Championship. It's one of the biggest quarter horse shows in the world.
This show has been very successful. It's the 15th year for the Select World Show. Every show, every year, it's been right here in Amarillo. Started here and we've kept it here every year, and it's been very successful, and people come and have a lot of fun and have good friendly competition and become world champions.
In order to qualify for this World Championships, you have to be 50 years of age or older and have competed at enough shows under enough judges to get enough points to qualify to come to this show here in Amarillo.
And it's the world show for the age group.
There's people from all over the United States, Alaska, and several foreign countries.
the people that compete in it are 50 and older. People are really relaxed. You know, they're visiting with their families. There's every generation here.
Our people are very friendly, and they love to talk about their horses. So you won't have any problem finding people who'll talk about their horse.
That's good, yeah. It's a very relaxed atmosphere compared to the high competitive other shows that you see, you know, the younger ages.
Now I get to compete with my grandsons and my granddaughter.
My son was a two-time national high school finals rodeo champion in the bareback riding.
This is my daughter Jax. She shows, she comes along, she helps me, she rides all my horses and gets them legged up for me.
I'm starting to realize that this event is not only about quarter horses, it's also about family.
Everybody here brings their whole entire family. I mean, I had a gal yesterday whose granddaughter raced out to her after she placed 8th place at the show and leaped into her grandma's arms, and grandma had tears in her eyes, and she threw her right up on the horse, and that little old girl couldn't have been more than 4 years old, and rode this horse that had placed in the top 10 at the World Championships, and rode that horse back to the barn. So these people are here with their kids, their grandkids, their great-grandkids in some of these cases. I mean, super select riders are over the age of 70. So these people are here. I mean, some of the events a couple nights ago, one guy from Wisconsin was here. He had 20 family members in the stands screaming for him as he went through. So yeah, so it's really, really a great opportunity to spend time with your families, travel with your families.
It's a real family thing, you know, and you find out that that's really what most of our members are family people.
Seems like everyone wants to tell me about their family. And around here, family means your spouse, your children, your parents, and of course, your horse.
We just got here. We have a big week ahead of us. I'm going to be competing in 4 events this week, and so we're getting our horse, Vinny, so we're excited to get him settled in and get all our tack unloaded and get ready to start competing for the week. Yeah, he's pretty. He's an 8-year-old gelding, yeah.
And what do you call that color?
Well, he's just, I call it by now, just a flea bit gray, you know. Over time, all gray horses start dark when they're born, and they just keep getting lighter and lighter over time, and he just gets a little lighter every year, and his tail and his mane get a little lighter, and he gets a little stouter. So he's really been an unbelievable horse. I never thought I'd have a horse of this quality, and he's just a fantastic horse, aren't you, Vinny? So our horse, his name's SF Vintage Sidekick, but we refer to him as Vinny. So we're excited to get our best game on, get used to the surroundings, you know, go through some of our patterns, and get ready to start competing for the week.
You know, there's so much preparation that goes into an event like this. And we were there and we saw all these people and they were warming up, getting ready, waiting their turn in line. And so, you know, I decided to do a painting of them just warming up, you know, and so I just thought this was kind of a nice aspect of it. You know, the lighting was great in this, and this just kind of speaks to me about, you know, how when you're getting ready for an event, back when I was rodeoing, you'd get ready for an event and you'd have butterflies and you're expecting, you know, you're trying to do your best. Things happen, you know, when you're in a competition versus just out in everyday life. So you could tell that these people were preparing for a big event, and this was a big event at the AQHA. So I kind of thought about this painting and thought, what is this guy thinking? And to me, I can relate to it. So anyway, I kind of like the lighting in this, the way the shadows come across the, you know, the arena there, the lighting on him. I mean, it was the composition of this is just zeroes in on this guy and his horse. You know, they're all both anxious. I think they're both thinking about what they're supposed to be doing. So I think this speaks to this particular event, the AQHA. Well, the American Quarter Horse Association is located in Amarillo, Texas. And they have a real nice building with a gallery and a museum next to it. Well, if you've seen some of our early shows, you might recognize Summer Ferguson.
This is Summer.
She works there. And so we were invited to come there for that reason. She's the reason we're here. She invited us, so that's it. And Ellie, so they gave us a tour of their main offices. Hey, Summer.
Hi. Good. How are you?
You're
here.
Hi, what's your
We're
name?
glad you're here, Jackie.
Jackie. It was a very interesting place.
After you.
Thank you. And we went into this big office
This is the president's room.
where they had pictures of all the past presidents and the presidents that were right now. I mean, it was a really, really neat tour.
On this side, we have your event planning, animal welfare, public policy, our youth, first youth president. Here he is right here.
And we got to see where the people register the horses, they catalog them. It's a very in-depth program there that they do to make sure that everything is legal and right for the American quarter horses. My favorite part was seeing the art on the walls. A guy named Orrin Mixer from right here in Oklahoma, all originals. And so that was a highlight for me, getting to see those paintings. Jim Bound is a cowboy from Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin may not be the first place that comes to mind when you think about rodeoing, but Jim is not your typical cowboy.
At this show here, I won the calf roping, won the breakaway, won the heeling, tied for the all-around. First and second.
You see, Jim has a knack for winning. In other words,
tie down calf rope.
He's really good. In fact, he's a 14-time world champion.
Calf rope. First and second, tied for the all-around. I started out, like everybody else, riding horses when I was little. We went through several different facets. We were in high school rodeo, and my dad always showed horses, and ever since we were little, we've been involved with AQHA, and you can qualify in any state in the United States to come here, and they have shows all across the country, and quite a few people from Canada and even Brazil and Italy come here, and it's gotten tough, so everybody's gotten better, so we're competitive in that aspect.
Well, as I talk to you, there's quite a bit of history with what you've done. You're also a horseshoer. You train all your own horses and you raise all your own horses.
I do, yeah. I shoe horses, always have. For over 40 years I've shot horses, and I raise all my colts, train them, get them, broke to where I think they're good enough to show, and I show them myself.
Jim has seen a lot of success over the years, but his success didn't just happen. It's the result of years of hard work and countless hours of practice. And having a great horse also helps.
Your reserve world champion, Pound of Phoenix, and Jim Pound.
Jim is doing really well here at the AQHA show. He's an all-around cowboy. He does team roping, calf roping, and all of it. One of the things he does a lot of is calf roping. Calf roping is one of those sports that's an individual sport. It's not like team roping or anything. It's all up to you and a calf and one horse. I even used to do this myself when I was young. I calf roped too, along with team roping. Well, what's happening here is the calves come out of the chute, the horses come out of the box. The idea is to rope that calf. You run down and you throw the calf and you tie him down with a small pegging string, and then the time ends right there. The pegging string's here in his mouth, he's carrying that, and it loops around and sticks in your belt. And so it's a speed sport. A good time for this would probably be anywhere from 6 to even 12, 15 seconds. And the thing I liked about this painting too was the action, the dust. The background was just kind of just blurred. But to me, again, it's an action painting. I love doing action painting. That's why I'm calling this one In Hot Pursuit.
We just were at the Youth World here just a few weeks ago, and Jax rode this mare. She's 10 years old. Her name is Bound to Cash Checks. We've had her since she was a baby. She's a 4-time world champion, and my daughter's rode her since she was just a colt. We started riding her as a 2-year-old colt, and she last weekend made their first Youth World Championship. Jax won the Youth Ranch Riding Honor in Level 2 over at the Youth World Show.
This is the first belt buckle I've ever won. There's 123 entries in it, and I got to ride my horse Lily, and we were the 9th out, so 9th out of 123. You really didn't know what was going to happen or anything, and we went back to the barn, and then my brother came over screaming his head off that I marked 228, and I didn't believe him. I told him that I was going to kill him if he was lying, so.
You don't just joke around about that at that point, right?
No. So.
Well, I grew up rodeoing, you know, through my teens and in my 20s. I usually did heading and heeling, and then I haven't done it in quite a while again, but this painting represents a heading. I did the heading a lot of times because, you know, I wasn't as good at heeling as I was heading. The thing I liked about this painting here was it was a real up-close perspective of what goes on right near where the action is. This guy is releasing a loop for a head loop, and it's a flat-out hand loop. My dad always said it's like throwing a baseball. When you release a rope, you point your fingers at where you want it to end. So anyway, you can tell if you're a header, this is actually a head loop. I like the rope coming straight out towards you. Well, practice is the key. You know, you have to work at this for years. You know, we use a dummy on the ground. You call it a dummy. It's just a set of plastic steer horns. You stick them in a bale of hay. And people always kind of laugh when they come up in my backyard and I have this bale of hay with a steer horn sticking in it. And I do that a lot when I'm feeling stressed. I'll go out there and rope, you know, for 30 minutes or an hour, sometimes, you know, daily. So repetition is what it takes, a lot of practice. That's what it takes to become a world champion roper.
I think it's always important to practice and practice hard and practice well if you're planning on going to compete and want to continue to get better.
Back in Oklahoma, I got to rope with Jeff during one of his practice sessions. We spent the afternoon team roping, or what some call heading and heeling. We're at the McNair Ranch, a horse training facility owned and operated by Monty McNair and his family. Well, Monty McNair, he runs his family ranch. You know, his dad still comes out every day. He has some nephew there. His whole family kind of is involved, but Monty kind of runs the place.
Known the McNair family for a long time. They're great horsemen. It's such a first-class facility, and he's got good horses and helps me with my horses, good cattle. Monty really stresses doing it the correct way.
The grounds were beautiful. I mean, you can tell they take a lot of pride in their place. Everything was plowed. Everything was clean and neat. The fences were painted white. It was just a beautiful place.
The difference between calf roping and team roping a lot of times has to do with the size of the cattle. And in calf roping, you know, a 200, maybe even as much as a 250-pound calf, you know, can be accomplished with one guy and kind of doing it by himself. But with team roping, it requires, you know, bigger cattle. These cattle are probably weighing 500-600 pounds today. And so I certainly don't plan on getting off and trying to flank one of these things. So we're going to try to team rope them with Monty's help today, and heading and heeling, as it's often called in our industry.
I used to rope years ago, competed in rodeos when I was young, but it had probably been about 10 or 15 years since I roped a steer out of a box. So, you know, I figured I wouldn't do very well.
We're going to come out, someone's going to rope the steer by the horns, referred to as heading. We're going to turn the steer off to the left, and then heeler will come in and grab the back 2 feet. And once the heeler catches, the header will face the horse back towards the heeler, and that's when the clock stops. So I think it's time to get in the roping box and see what we can do.
Start off with you big boys and let you...
Okay.
I call it roping out of a box. You back your horse into a box, and these steers come out of a chute in the middle. And you nod for them to release the steer, and then you ride and rope her. Roping out of a box is what I call it. Well, I didn't know if I could still do it, but I got lucky on my first try.
Nice steer, that's great.
You know, it was very good to get back into that. It ended up being a lot of fun, and I did a lot better than I thought.
Great.
And man, it was a great experience. Well, heading and heeling is all about teamwork. It takes 2 guys, one for the head and one for the heel. Used to be when I rodeoed, I always roped the head. But then there was always a close relationship between the header and the heeler. You had to realize where he was at, you had to turn back the steer right, and we had to work together as a team. So this is what I want to portray in this painting right here. This is a heeler. He's coming in, he's going to rope the heels. As you know, the header's rope is coming out of the picture right here, as you see there. So the idea for him is to come in after the header's caught and come in and try to pick up 2 heels. You know, in a heeling position, you swing the rope different, you release it different. You've got a different swing than you do when you're heading. The name of this painting is Looking for 2. It's kind of an isolated image on the heeler. I really like the lighting of this piece. I mean, what caught my eye was the lighting. Of course, all of my paintings, lighting catches my attention the most. And I wanted to create a lot of action with the dust and the clods coming up. And I just like the position of the guy coming in, and you can tell he is concentrating on those heels. And so at this point, you have the header already out here with the rope, and we've focused in on the heeling part. The steers used for heading and heeling are called corriente. These steers are raised specifically for this event. They have nice sized horns. They're not too big. They're probably 600-700 pounds. They stay about that same size for a long time, and you'll see them throughout the whole world in rodeo. I just love the action and up close. I like the feeling that I get when you can see the guy's kind of expression, even though his eyes aren't there. I cropped in on the bottom of the horse and got close into the steer because I felt like you were into the action on this piece. And that's just what captured my attention with this painting, the lighting and the action. And I could just, feel that because I've been there before. So this kind of thing happens in just a matter of seconds. I mean, the header ropes the head, he turns him back, the heeler comes in for the catch because it's a timed event. And so that's what I want to show here. This thing happens just very, very quickly. At least that's the ultimate goal for it. So anyway, this could be anywhere from 6 seconds to 20 seconds to 30 seconds. But if you're going to be in the winning, you better get it down there 6, 7, 8 seconds.
Yeah, look at this cute little gray.
Oh, yeah. Man.
Hi, bud. Hi. This guy's already off for the afternoon. So he's just probably had his lunch and taking a nap and resting up for more classes tomorrow. You're a good boy. He's a dapple gray, a big tall horse. He's actually probably on the taller side of the quarter horse world.
The horses when the riders are not, and so Jesus Ortiz trained some of the top horses, and he knows what horses like. What do you think? Has he got an award?
I think we're gonna probably see a trick or something.
He showed us one of his special tricks.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Peppermint candy.
His favorite thing is Big Newtons.
Oh!
That's why he's so tall. See, he likes those big Newtons. So it's funny that you keep a whole stack of peppermints in your bag there. Okay.
I can't believe how tall he is.
He is very tall for a quarter horse.
Hi, sweetie.
This is Grayson. He's a 7-year-old gray. Made it back to the final, so he'll be showing tomorrow. We're very excited for that.
Oh, yeah. Big gray.
Big gray, yeah. Not your typical quarter horse size. But yeah, he's a very big, pretty boy. He's just a big goofball. He's a very good horse. So we certainly do enjoy him at the barn.
Don't have no more peppermints.
I know. Oh, he's so cute.
He's just a character, so
yeah.
when he doesn't get his way, he'll start finding every way he can just to get another treat.
Wanting some more peppermints.
But other than that, how he rides, how he leads, he's just perfect. He'll do whatever you ask him to do, he'll do it. It really is like taking care of a child because the food, medicines, everything, it's like a child. So it's like taking care of a child.
That's right.
You gotta love it to do this kind of job. You gotta love it, you really do.
For me, the love of this is, all the preparation and all the practice and just getting an opportunity after a long day at work to come out and put our boots and jeans on and saddle up a good horse and come out here. A lot of people don't really understand it, and that's unfortunate because this is something that we enjoy doing. It's something that we would rather do more than anything else if given the opportunity for free time, is to be around, the animal, the cattle and the horses and just the ranching lifestyle. And so for those that understand it, they get it, but for those that have never had the opportunity, You ought to try it sometime. It's very rewarding and very peaceful.
Usually I work in oils, but sometimes I'll do charcoal drawings, and so I decided to work this up. This one's of Jeff. He's just the kind of guy that I really enjoy being around. You know, he was just fun to work with. He just was very open with us and let us share his life. What I liked about this picture of Jeff was there was a real white hat on top of this dark shadow under here, and the highlights up into his glasses. And so I just wanted to do a study of Jeff. I call it a study, but it's really a finished piece. So this is why I decided to do a charcoal portrait of Jeff. I hope you enjoyed the show and maybe even learned a little bit about the cowboy life. Join me next time for another cowboy adventure. I'm Steve Boaldin.